Hello, today I'm going to show you how to play Cyberion. This is the latest design by Shadi Torby, published by Impatience. This is also the latest game in the Oniverse series. It started with Oniverse, but now there's quite a few entries and you can expect two more, namely a second edition of Urbium, also known as Equilibrium, and Ultimeon will be the last game and we'll put everything together. So, without further ado, let's go to setup. The first thing you do is you grab the robot deck that shows robots in different colors and different numbers. You shuffle that deck, you discard 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards. This creates your discard pile. And then you reveal 5 cards here, creating a row called the platform. Then you grab the factory card deck. This has 10 cards of level 1 and 10 cards of level 15 cards of level 2. You shuffle the level 2, you shuffle the level 1, put it on top of level 2, and then you reveal 5 factory cards. Then we have here the mainframe. I already set it up. You put these tokens on level 1 where there is no ability. Throughout the game they will move to the right, giving you an ability. You have here the failsafe tokens. You grab one of them, put it on your reserve, and here you have support tokens. You shuffle them, you pick one. This is a one-use support that you get throughout the game, and it matches the level 3 of one of these 5 skills. All right, with that done, you are ready to start. What is the goal in Cyberion? The goal is to solve all these factory problems using the robots that you have at your disposal before time runs out. Time runs out once you go twice through the deck. So once you run out of cards in your deck, you will use your battery to recharge. So basically you grab the discard, shuffle it into your empty deck now, creating a new deck. If this runs out and you haven't solved all the factory cards, you can still play until you run out of cards, but you will eventually lose unless you can solve all factory cards. The way you lose is like that. On your turn, you have the opportunity of solving one of these factory cards. If you don't solve any factory card on any given turn, you lose one failsafe token. If you have to lose a failsafe token and you don't have any, you lose the game. So you start with one failsafe token. You can get more by increasing a skill past the 4th to the 5th level. There's this icon here, and that would give you one failsafe token. You can also adjust difficulty by starting the game with more failsafe tokens, which makes it easier, or you could even risk going less, but that's a dangerous proposition. So how does Cyberium actually work? It works like this. On your turn, you have this row of cards called the platform. However, you can see this as your hand of cards, but in Cyberion, you have 3 rows of cards. You have the platform, which is your main hand. Then you have the flash, which is a secondary row here on top. Cards that are here will be discarded at the end of the round. And you have the reserve, which is here, where cards are not discarded at the end of the round, but they are also not refilled. So in your turn, you're going to look at the 5 factory cards that are here, and you're going to try to solve at least one of them on your turn. So let's take an example. This card requires 2 blue cards. And you can see here, this card is blue, this card is purple and has a different suit. So we could solve that card by playing these 2 blue cards. Some other cards will tell you something with a number. So for example, to do this one, you need to play 2 2s. That's the robot size. This robot is small, is size 1, but this robot over here is size 2. If I wanted to solve this card this turn, it wouldn't be simple because I have 1, 2, 3 1s, 1, 3, and 1, 2, which means I cannot solve that one and I cannot solve this one. So let's solve the one we can solve. We spend these 2 blue cards to solve this factory card. And now we have 3 cards over here, and we have this card that is solved. Why is this important? Because factory cards become a currency to you. You can use this to improve one of your 5 skills. What is the cost? So you throw away one card, factory card that you have already solved, to go to the next level. Going from level 1 costs you 1, so it would cost me a single 1 card to level up this skill. But now if I want to level up this skill again, I need to pay 2 because that's the level it's currently on. If I want to level a different skill that is on level 1, it still only costs me 1. What that means is that by solving factory cards, you can actually improve your skills. And now let me tell you a little bit about that skills. So, the first skill lets you draw one card, two cards, depending on your level you draw more cards, and putting it here into the flash. So in your top row, these are cards that you can use in your round, but if you don't use them in a given round, they will be discarded. The blue cards in your reserve lets you move cards from the flash or from the platform into the stock, saving them for later. Again, as you level up, this goes from 1 card to 2 cards, 3 cards, 5 cards. Then we have the purple suit. This purple suit lets you get cards from the discard pile and put them on top of your deck. In level 1, this means you can get any purple card and put it on top of the deck. In level 2, you can put any card, so any suit, on top of the deck. And level 4 or 5 are you grab a purple and you put it directly into the platform, so into your row here. Or you grab any card and you put them in your platform. So this can be very good to get a card that you already use and want it back. Green lets you look at X number of cards, so 1, 2, 3, or 5. You look at one card and you put one card in the platform, or you look at two cards, you put one in the platform and you put the other one on top or on the bottom of the deck. And lastly, we have the red symbol that lets you prepare a factory. So you discard the number of cards that is here, and this decreases as you level up, and you prepare a factory. That means that with the base skill, you would discard 5 cards from any card that is in play or even the top of the deck, so 5 cards, and you would prepare a factory card, which means that you can ignore one of the requirements that it lists. So for example, if I had this card prepared, I would only need 1, 4. All right. So we solved one factory. We could keep going, but it's not looking very promising. So we end our turn. Because we solved one factory, we don't lose anything. So we don't have to spend our failsafe token. And now it's time to refill. Our main hand, so our platform hand, is always refilled back to 5. If we had cards in the flash, they would go away. And if we had cards in the stock, they would stay, but they would not get refilled. That's the difference between your 3 rows, which you can imagine as 3 hands that behave a bit differently. All right, so now we right away cannot solve anything. We need 2 4s, 2 5s, 2 2s, 2 greens, and 2 yellows. And we have no yellow, we have only 1 green, and our numbers are not aligning because we have 3 1s and 1 3 and 1 5. So the cards that we are closest to finishing is this one and the green one. So now we either take a loss or we try to get closer. If we saw that we couldn't fulfill anything, we could simply discard cards and trigger their ability. But all the cards are in level 1, so there is no ability right now. But we have a way of impacting that by discarding this card to level up one of our abilities. Right now, there is no easy solution to what we are trying to do. We can try to get a 5 or to get a green and complete one of these 2, but the powers that we have right now are not very helpful. So I'm actually going to level up one effect that I don't level up often, which is the red skill. So I discard this to level up our red skill, and now this gives us some flexibility to use some powers. So I'm going to discard this red card to trigger our red power. Our red power says that we can discard 5 cards to prepare one of these cards, making it easier to complete. So I'm going to discard 2 cards that are in play and 3 cards from the top of the deck. And I'm going to prepare this card. With that card prepared, I'm going to discard this card. So because I decreased the requirements by 1, so instead of 2 5s, I only need 1 5. I discarded a card with number 5, which means I complete this factory. I can use it now to level up one of my skills. Since I completed already a factory this round, I'm feeling quite safe, so I finish my round. So I refill my main hand and I refill the row of factories. So discarding cards is not always good because the faster you discard, the faster you go through your deck and the closer you get to the end of the game, and you need to solve these 25 factory cards. So right now I have 2 greens. I'm gonna solve this factory and I'm okay with the current situation. So I finish my turn, which means we refill. And now I have several options regarding what to improve. With 2 cards, I could improve the red skill so that I have to discard less cards to prepare a factory, or I could even improve 2 of the other skills. Let's see what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna organize them a bit. What are the requirements? 2 4s, 2 3s, 2 2s, 2 yellows, and 2 reds. I don't have enough yellows. I have enough reds, which is good. And I don't have 2 2s, I don't have 2 3s, and I don't have 2 4s. So I'm gonna just use what I have, spend 2 reds to solve this factory card and finish my turn. I find that solving one factory card per turn works well. You could solve more than 1 per turn, but I feel like solving 1 factory and seeing what else I draw lets me decide better which cards to focus on. So right now I have 2 4s, which is fine. And you will notice that right now I'm just doing the obvious play, the play I can. But as the game gets harder, because now we are getting to the 2-level factory, it's not as simple as making the obvious choice. You need to decide well which skills you upgrade so that you can fulfill the conditions that are here. So right now I have 2 2s, and I have this card that requires 2 2s. So now it becomes, I actually have 3 2s. Which 2s do I want to use to solve that card? And it comes down to, do I want to use this, for example, this green to solve another of the challenge? Do I want to use it for the ability? So which card do I opt to keep is already meaningful. And I could now focus on the power that they give me, and they do give me good powers, or I can focus on whatever else I need. So I don't need green right now, and I don't need blue, but I know I need the purple, so I'm opting to keep the purple, even though maybe I would prefer to have the green power, which lets me check the top of the deck. But I'm just gonna spend these 2 2s to solve this card. I solve the card this round, so I'm fine, and I go to the next round. And you can already see here our first level 2 factory that has 3 requirements, 3 4s. So this is already gonna be a whole lot harder. So let's see our current situation. We have 2 1s that lets us solve this. We have 2 yellows that lets solve this. These 2 yellows are actually 2 3s, which lets us solve this as well. So we have plenty of options. I'm gonna go with spending 2 1s to solve this 1 factory. You might notice that I'm acquiring here quite a lot of experience that's gonna let me upgrade my skills. And I'm saving that until I'm in a bind and I'm not able to fulfill one of the factories, and I'm counting on those to help me solve that problem. Alright, here we have an interesting card where we need to discard 3 robots that the combined weight over here is less than 6. So for example, less or equal. A 4 and 2 1s would allow us to solve this factory. But right now, with the cards we have in play, there's 0 chance we can solve that because they are all quite high. Our lowest is a 2, and our lowest sum is 2 3 3, which would be 8. Alright, so time to try to solve one of these challenges. And I'm going to discard this 4, even though it's helpful for this card. Actually not a good idea. Because by this card needs 3 4s, which would put me in a bit of a bind. So I'm just gonna discard this 2 3s to solve the 3 requests instead of solving the yellow request. And now we go to the next round. Alright. We are doing quite well. 3 plus 1 plus 2, that's 6, allows us to solve this factory card. Alright, and now we still are in a good position because we can solve this one by sacrificing one of those 4. And I will solve one more factory, finish my turn, and draw another card. Okay, so it seems now that we have hit a wall. We have 2 5s, 2 2s, and 1 4. Here we need 3 2s, 3 4s. We need 2 purple, 3 purple. But we have this interesting card that we'll be able to solve. we need 2 robots of one size, X, and 2 robots of another size, Y. So this means that I need, for example, 2 5s and 2 2s that I have. That allows me to solve that factory card. This is going quite smooth, I have to say. And now we have 2 4s, 2 3s, and a 5. We require 2 blues, 3 2s, 3 4s, a lot of purple. So let's use some powers. I want to use this card again. The power of this card is adding cards into our top hand, so the flash, these row of cards. And the more I level up that skill, the more cards I will reveal. So what I'm going to do is spend 1 to go to level 2, spend 2 to go to level 3, and I could even go forward, and I will. I'll spend 3 to go from level 3 to 4. And now it's the question. If I go to level 5, I will get a failsafe token that allows me to not fulfill a factory and will completely fill my factory here, but that will leave me with no flexibility. So if I don't get cards that I can use there, I am kind of toast. So I'm gonna keep this 4 experience. I'm not gonna level it up yet. I feel like I should, but I don't want to risk it. So now I discard the yellow to trigger the yellow power, which reveals 3 cards here into the flash. And what did we get? We got 3 trees, which is not helpful. So the cards that I have here don't yet solve our problem, but I can keep going. I can, for example, discard this yellow to trigger its power again and reveal 3 more cards. There's a maximum of 5 cards in each hand, both on top and on the bottom. And now I'm already feeling way better because I have 3 purples. I didn't even realize. I had 2 purples here. I could have solved that, but that would have been too easy. So I have 3 purples, lets me solve this. I have 1, 2, 3 4s that would let me solve this. Now I need to decide what I want to go for. Discarding here 2 4s to solve the purple would not be excellent. Let's see what we can do. I have a 4 here. So I'm gonna go 4, 4, and 4. And with that, I solve this card. And now, can I solve anything else? I could solve that purple. The thing is, if I don't use these cards, they will be discarded, and that would be a waste. So I'm gonna keep going, and I'm gonna once again use my yellow power to reveal 3 more cards and try to solve some more of the problems that I have here. So I have 2 2s, which are not enough for that. I have 3 purples, that's good. I use these 3 purples to solve this purple factory. All right, and I cannot solve any of the others, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna level up our blue skill that lets us store some cards for later. So 1 card to go from level 1 to level 2, 2 cards to go from level 2 to level 3, and 3 cards to go from level 3 to level 4. So now, if I discard this blue card, I will be able to save 3 of those cards in my bottommost row to use in other turns. I'm just seeing because that means I will waste 1 card, but maybe it's worth it. I will just do it. I will pick 3 of these cards and put them here in my stock. So cards that are safe, but I never refill the stock. And because I should use this card, otherwise it will be discarded. I have no experience, so this card does nothing. I have to discard it at the end of the round. So now we ended the round. We have some cards in our stock. The flash I already emptied, and now I refill my hand. I refill 1 card and my deck is over. So now I have to spend my battery to convert my discard pile into my deck again. And I refill my platform hand. And I refill the factories. There's still plenty of cards here to solve, so let's see if we can solve the problems at hand. 3 3s, I had that before. So I have 3 2s, that lets me solve that problem. And I have 2 3s, not enough. I have 2 purples. So the thing is, these cards are safe. So they cannot be discarded. So I would rather keep them for a tight moment. So I'll spend these 2 purples to solve this one card. And I'll finish my turn here. I refill my hand and the factory. And now what do I need? I have plenty of yellows that are not a requirement right now. I can use these 3 reds to solve this. And do I have 3 2s? No. So I'm gonna spend, sadly, 2 cards from my stock. 3 reds, I solve this factory. And I finish my turn. Alright. I need 3 5s, which I do not have. I need 3 greens, 3 blues, 3 2s, and 3 3s. It's looking messy, so I'm gonna spend one of the yellow cards to reveal 3 cards into my flash. I have plenty of 4s that I do not want. I will want them later and I will regret it. So I'm gonna spend the 4 to trigger the yellow ability again and reveal 3 more cards. Alright, this is looking better because now I have 3 5s. That lets me solve this factory card. And I have a few other cards. So I leveled up my blue, so what I'm gonna do is spend one of this blue to save 3 of these cards into my stock, which means they are not wasted, and I finish my turn. I refill. So this card says that I need to play a card that is exactly the same as another one. So same color and same height, or same weight, which maybe I could fulfill. So I can easily fulfill it with these 2 because they are 2 yellow 3s, but maybe I want to analyze whatever else I have, and whatever else I have is not an option. So I do discard these 2 cards that are exactly the same to solve this factory problem, and that's it. End of the turn, more cards. I need 3 cards that their combined total is larger than 12 or equal. 3 2s, 3 3s is not looking great. So my fear of discarding all these 4s is, I'm pretty sure there's a card that says that I need 3 4s. I don't know if I completed it already. Maybe I did. Oh, I did, so I don't need to worry so much about 4s. So what I'm gonna do is grab these 2 cards, that's already 8, and now I could discard an additional 4, but I'm gonna go with an additional 5. Why am I taking the 5? Because the yellow, I leveled up its skill a lot, so now it's very valuable to me. So I rather keep it around for a rainy day. So the total of this is 13. It allows me to fulfill this factory, and I finish my turn. And we go forward. All right. 3 yellows, we can do that. We have 2 2s. We still cannot do this one. Let's go with the 3 yellows, even though we are spending a very valuable card for us. Finish my turn again. Okay, 3 1s. We are very far from it. We already solved a card that would need all these 5s. It seems that right now we are quite far away from the bonuses we need. I would rather not spend this yellow because, like we said, it's very powerful and it helps us fulfill that. So we can look into other powers. We have quite some currency here. We need greens, so I don't want to spend greens. We could grab some purple, use the purple skill to grab some card from the discard pile. Interesting, we could do that. So I can see that a lot of purple hasn't come out. I'm gonna do a risky play. I'm gonna spend the 1 yellow wait. Before I do that, before I spend the 1 yellow, I'm gonna spend 4 to level up the yellow from level 4 to level 5. We cross the final threshold, which gives us another failsafe token, so it's risky, but at the same time, it gains us some security. Then I discard the yellow, which now reveals 5 cards, completely filling our flash over here. So I revealed 2 ones, but I discarded the third one, but now I have plenty of cards to use. And what I'm gonna use is have a 2. Nope, not enough 2s. So I'm gonna use 3 blues to solve this one problem. I am going to use 3 greens to solve this other problem. This is a risky play because now I'm decreasing my options over here. Maybe it's time to finish my turn and prepare for next round, which I will, by doing something like this. Just give me a second to analyze the discard. All right, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pay 1 to level up purple from level 1 to level 2, pay 2 to go from level 2 to level 3, and now I'm going to discard purple to get any card, sorry, any card from the discard pile and put it on top of the deck. And then I'm gonna do the same with this card to put, no, yes. I'm gonna discard this card to put another 2 from the discard pile on top of the deck. What this means is now I know I have 2 2s over here, which I know I'm gonna draw, so I'm gonna be able to fulfill this one next round because I'm gonna have 3 2s. This one would be going to the discard pile, and it's a bit of a waste to spend a blue that could save me 3 cards to save only 1, but the ones are gonna be very valuable, so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna spend this blue, move this into my stock, and I'm actually going to move this one into my stock as well, because then I will draw more cards. I'll finish my turn. We are almost out of factories, so there's only 4 to solve, which is good. And now I refill my hand. As predicted, I have a lot of 2s, so I'm gonna go forward and solve that one. And I cannot solve anything else, so I finish my turn. Oh, now I get all the 2s. All right, we are here in a bit of a bind. Why? Because we need 3 1s, 3 3s, and then we need a sequence of 1 2 3 4 or 2 3 4 5. And we are quite far away from that. So what can we do? We also have this token that allows us to decrease the requirement of one of these cards, which might not be the end of the world. We would be spending a lot of cards to do so though. This 5 is useless to us right now. Interesting. I'm gonna risk that. I'm gonna spend this. This is tough choices now. Well, I'm going to spend this to discard 4 cards that I don't care about. Which cards don't I care about? Well, I'm gonna go with these 2 plus 2 from the top of the deck. That lets me prepare one of these factories. I prepared this one. And then I have 1 2 3 minus the 4, and I solve that factory. And now we are getting close to an empty deck, which is dangerous, but we had a nice draw. So 3 1s are enough to solve this, but I'm gonna do it a bit differently. I'm gonna spend these 3 1s, 1 from the stock, to solve this. And now I know I need 2 3s. So what I'm gonna do is discard this purple to find a 3 in the discard pile and put it on top of the deck. Good. These 2. Well, this 2 is not doing anything for me, so I'm gonna level it up. Spending 1 card to level it up to level 1, 2 cards to level it up to level 2. Now I'm gonna discard it. The effect is that I look at the top 2 cards of the deck, I put 1 into the row, and this one goes on top or on the bottom of the deck. I don't need a 4, but the power isn't bad. Oh, I know what I'm gonna do. Instead of putting this one in the row, I put it on top. I put this one in the row. I spend it to again trigger the purple power of finding a card in the discard pile and putting on top of the deck. And that's it. I solved one factory this round, so I'm safe. I just finished my turn. I refill my main hand, the platform, and now I have 3 threes, which means I solved the problem. I solved the factory, and I win the game with 4 cards left. So that's a victory, and that's Cyberion for you. This that you saw is just the base game, and I find it quite easy. I don't think I have lost the base game ever. However, in true Oniverse fashion, you have plenty of expansions over here, and these expansions really shake up the game. There I have lost quite a few times, but I have also won. So you have several modules here that allow you to mix and match your experience, to throw different challenges at you. You can, as any other game in the Oniverse series, also play this as a 2-player co-op. I haven't tried this yet for this one, but I really like the remaining games of the series as 2-player co-ops. So that's Cyberion for you. I really like this game. I think it's automatically jumping to the top of my favorite games in the Oniverse series. This whole thing with the board here, where you increase your skills, is really interesting. I think it plays out differently each game. So sometimes I go really heavily on the green, sometimes I go really heavy on the yellow. The blue for me is one of my favorites because it lets you reserve cards. Red is a bit tricky for me because discarding a lot of cards is dangerous. But if you can get it up to here, you discard 1 card to solve a problem, that's really excellent. So this thing of you are gaining experience by solving factories and then spending that experience to kind of, let's call it, level up your character, even though you're leveling up the mainframe, is really cool. This whole thing with 3 hands that behave differently. You have 1 hand that you don't discard cards, that it's refilled at the end of the round. You have 1 that you don't discard cards and it's not refilled at the end of the round. And I have 1 where you discard, and you have 1 where you discard all the cards at the end of the round. It's really interesting. You're manipulating it, trying to get the cards that you need into your play area so that you can solve the factories. So I really like it. I highly recommend people who like solo games to check this one out. Again, I haven't tried the 2-player co-op, but they are normally excellent as well. So if you are looking for a 2-player co-op game with a lot of variety, with these expansions and a very smart system, also check it out. And that's it. Thanks a lot for watching Cyberion, and have a good day. Bye bye.